Broadcasting from the Dixon Petunia Festival Sweetland Studios, this is Along the Rock.
Hello again and welcome to Along the Rock, our podcast that pays homage to the people of the Sauk Valley and the river that runs through it. I'm Mark Morris, your host. My guest today, very pleased to welcome Matt Jagitsch to my living room.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. And Matt, as you will see as we go on here, is an artist. He brought two of his works with him, which we will see in the background. And I guess you've been doing this for quite a while, Matt, but the last 4 or 5 years you've been concentrating on these what look like charcoal drawings, but are not.
Right. So these are actually, it's a term called reverse drawing. So reverse drawing is really basically just you're drawing and adding highlight to the dark paper, as opposed to conventional drawing where you're doing the shading and letting the white paper be your highlight. So it's a technique that's done with just a couple of white pencils on black paper.
So, okay, how long does it take you to complete something like this? This old man of the sea, and this scary looking lion.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm terrible at keeping track of time because I try to use the studio as a place to kind of get away from deadlines and everything. But a ballpark idea would be probably on that lion. You're looking at anywhere from 25 to 30 hours or so.
Okay, That seems pretty fast.
Well, I've been doing just these type of works for 4.5 years. So you get a little more proficient as you go. And especially with animal fur, where it looks like there's so much work to be done there with all the little hairs. Once you kind of get in a groove of making those, that motion, it goes a little bit quicker than what people would think.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, would these be for sale? Something like this?
They would be, yes. This piece here is actually, the lion is not for sale. I am donating that to my grade school back home in Jacksonville.
Okay.
They were the Lincoln Lions, so that's going to them.
Nice.
This piece back here is for sale. He was actually the winner of the fitting art show in Dixon 3 years ago. So I've kind of held on to him for a little bit and not let him be for sale, but you can't hold on to all of them. You got to let them go every now and then. So
okay. So you grew up in Jacksonville. Your wife is from Dixon?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. So we met at Eastern Illinois University, and where I was an art major. We got married right out of college. We started our family. I took a job in a non-art related field. Mm-hmm. So really didn't do anything with art out of college for about 28 years.
Really?
So yeah, enter COVID. When the world kind of shut down, we all found ourselves with some extra time on our hands. And my wife, as you said, is a teacher in Sterling. So she was teaching remotely from home. I was home a little bit more than normal because the construction industry had kind of slowed down. And so with both of us being home was really, all it took for her to say, you need to find something to do. So I started drawing again.
Sweetie.
Exactly. So just started drawing again. So really, everything has been within the last, 4.5 years. Prior to that, I was 21 years old in college. But, that time frame in between was really not a whole lot of art going on in my life. So it was nice to get back to it.
So what's the feeling when you stop doing what you were doing for a living, which may or may not be considered creative, depending on who you are and what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And when you dropped that and got into this full time, what was that feeling like?
Well, I'm actually still a painting contractor. This is just kind of a side. This is just a part-time thing right now.
Okay.
Making it full-time as an artist is a struggle, but it's still. It's almost your brain just kind of shuts off and you go from one mode to the next. While house painting, there are some creative aspects to that. It's nothing like doing a piece of art. So
you paint a lot of old lady houses. The old lady Victorian style is what I'm trying to say.
Right. I used to. The older I get, the less I like climbing high ladders. So I've got a contractor out of Byron that I do a lot of new construction with. So that's the way to go for me.
Yeah, I can identify with you.
Yeah,
that respect. So.
Get ready for summer fun at the 2025 Dixon Petunia Festival, featuring music, food, fireworks, parade, carnival, and much more. July 3rd through 6th in downtown Dixon. Details at petuniafestival.org.
Well, what else? What other kind of work do you do besides the reverse charcoal, if you don't mind me calling it that?
Sure. It's been pretty much exclusively the reverse drawing, the white pencil on black paper for, since I've been doing this for about the last 4.5 years, as I said. They just, it seems like once I've started doing those, I kind of, I found a niche. It's not real uncommon, but it's uncommon enough to where people are kind of interested in it when they see it.
Sure.
I have been able to start working in some other medium into the same type of work, called pan pastels, which are the same thing as a pastel stick, but it's compressed into a tin, and you apply it with a sponge on a handle. The lion, in fact, so what I'll do with that is go in and add a lot of background tones or tones underneath, undertones, and then add the white pencil over the top of that for the detail.
Okay.
So, but it's still, it's a look that's real similar. I don't even know if I could call it mixed media, just because it's really hard to tell where one ends and one begins.
Sure. You ever done any teaching?
I have not done any teaching. No, I leave that to my wife.
Ever had a desire to? I mean, in this area?
I've thought about it. There's a couple of local galleries that will do art classes, and I have had a few people ask, as far as interest in learning this technique. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm not to say that it won't.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I'm a patient enough person to be a teacher or not, but you never know until you try.
That's got to be a big part of it, especially if you're taking on students who maybe haven't done anything since elementary school.
Correct. Right. Yeah, and I have a tendency to really kind of get hyper focused on when I'm working. Outside things kind of disappear. So I don't know if that would help being a teacher. I don't know if I'd be able to. If I'm helping someone else, that would probably make a big difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just a question we sometimes have about people that would like to do more of what they're doing.
Sure.
But aren't quite sure how to break into something new and different.
Right.
As you say, you paint houses too, and you do this, and so it seems to keep you pretty satisfied.
It does. With doing a lot of gallery shows this summer, I have a lot of shows planned. Some are actually ongoing right now. Keeps me pretty busy with that. So I definitely wonder sometimes if I've bit off more than I could chew, especially for this summer, but I'm sure it'll all pan out. So
yeah, well, just remind them I'm an artist.
Right.
I have an artist's mentality.
Yeah.
I can't work that way.
Exactly.
It happens when it happens. Well, if anybody would want to contact you and look at your stuff or look and then purchase some of your stuff, where can they find you?
So you can find me on my webpage, which is blacksheepstudio.org. This summer, I have a number of shows, some fairly local, some not so local. Right now, I'm currently showing in LaSalle, Peru at NCI Artworks, and that show is a dual show with fellow Sauk Valley artist Ryan Jandry. That show runs through the end of this month. June and July, I have a show in Springfield, Illinois, at the Underground Gallery. That show is all animal portraits. And then there are also 2 pieces that I have going into a show at the Illinois State Museum from May 31st to September 2nd. And that show is Noir 5, Resilience. So that is artist depictions of resilience among African Americans. And that is their show for the Juneteenth celebration that they're having there.
Oh, okay.
July and August, I will be a featured artist at Quad City International Airport. They've got a gallery there that's kind of between the ticket area and the gate, but it is open to the public. You don't have to go through TSA or anything to get to the gallery. And then I'll be wrapping everything up in September in my hometown of Jacksonville at the David Strawn Gallery. So that ought to keep me busy until October.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So get him while he's hot.
Right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up, and I like your stuff. It's
thank you.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
And it's very, very detailed. Obviously, my brothers are both artists. I didn't inherit any of that, or very little of that creative brain
Okay.
from my parents. But they do all kinds of things, and they're always working on something. It's almost as though they couldn't stop if they wanted to.
I know the feeling. Yeah, exactly. There's artists that I know that have multiple pieces going at once, and that I can't do. I have to from start to finish one, and then I'll move on to the next one. But
one at a time.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with everything this summer, and again, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hope to see you again sometime.
All right. Thank you.
I'm talking with Matt Jagitsch, who's a local artist, and he lets you know where you can find him, and that's online. I'm Mark Morris. I've been your host. I'd also like to thank, in addition to my guest today, our crew for putting this show on the road to success. Hope you can join us next time along the route.